What is going on, guys? Back with another video. It's good to see some green across the board, and we've seen some pretty nice pumps across a lot of different narratives. And what I would say is never FOMO into massive green candles, always DCA. Is this sustainable in the short term? In my opinion, potentially, again, we could always have more pullbacks. There's still uncertainty in terms of, the trade war, tariffs, even though we've seen a little bit of potential signs of potential easing on tariffs. You've got here apparently US tariffs on China will likely be reduced by 50%. So it's a good starting point, and again, just some good news for a change. And ultimately, as I've said, guys, I still expect going into summer, June, July, I do expect the market to really recover. And this is just a glimpse of what to potentially expect. But of course, this could be a temporary pump. Now, we've seen a lot of projects show some strength. And, what I want to cover today, guys, is a project in the space of, AI meme coins, and also a project which has, I would say, one of the biggest communities across crypto. A lot of people seem to hold Turbo, talk about Turbo, and I do think this is a good project, a good meme coin, a good AI based meme coin. And also the frog narrative, which I think is another very hot narrative. Some of the biggest meme coins, the likes of Pepe, Book of Meme, Turbo, Frog. So there's a lot of different solid, frog-based meme coins, and a lot of them are having a decent rally. But Turbo has just absolutely exploded. This was ranging at around 100 million in market cap, and then out of nowhere, it just shoots up, and it is now currently 350 million. Should you buy this now? Of course not. Of course, it is going to be your own decision if you want to buy in at a massive green candle. But as I've said, guys, DCA, I think this is a solid project. And, I think from here, what sort of gains can it give you? And, I think this is a good way to find out, projects which are showing strength and which have these aggressive rallies, are projects that you want to keep an eye on, right? So Turbo, as I've said, of course, now currently, 340 million in market cap. So you need to understand you're not getting into a low cap, a micro cap. This is what you could consider a mid cap. Some people might consider it a high cap. I would call it a mid cap. And, of course, it is up massively, even on the year. So, this has performed very well. It showed a lot of strength. And look at the volume, guys, right? The volume is, close to double the market cap. Some of the best listings you could ask for. And I mean, you're not worried about basically buying this. You can buy this pretty much everywhere. And when you look at the project, I think it just has a very good use case, right? Basically claiming to be the first meme coin created by AI. And, they've actually got that sort of, pinned on the post here, the first meme coin created by AI. And this was in April the 30th, 2023. So you could say this was before all of, the AI agent hype and AI hype, and also, AI meme coin hype. So again, it gives that the first mover, sort of the first project in that narrative, in that space, which I think is, really important. And then, other things that I like about it, I like the way it really comes as that sort of community feeling. You can see here, this sort of matrix aspect as well, which I think is really good. And this is basically a story behind it, how he started with a budget of just $69. And, you can see how successful this project has turned out. So yeah, you can see also, with the turbo chain, so basically looking to make their own chain, which, also could be a good factor. And yeah, so there's a lot of things. You've got Turbo Swap here where you can basically, do cross-chain swaps between different chains, Turbo Chain, Ethereum, Solana, because this is on Solana and Ethereum. And as I've said, very good exchanges, 125 plus spot exchanges. And that is why the volume is, so strong. All the big exchanges, as I've said. So the thing with this is, you're not going to be waiting for a catalyst in terms of an exchange listing to pump this. This already has the listings. It's really how far the community and the hype can really push this. And, I do still think it has a huge, huge upside. If we have a look at the sort of all-time high, it is close to $1 billion, just under $1 billion. And so again, from here, you're talking about a 3x to all-time high, which might not seem very exciting. But as I've said, guys, I still fully expect us to, really, really have a parabolic rally. Everyone has just accepted that this is it. This is, I've seen people now saying to, get out of the market, and, this is the pumps to expect. But guys, what you need to realize is you've got something like, Turbo that can pump 2x in the space of a day, something in the, hundreds of millions of market cap that can pump. What do you think is going to happen to some of the smaller caps? So yeah, so what I like about Turbo, a lot of the collaborations they have as well, huge amount of collabs with different projects. You've got gaming projects, different memes, different companies, art studios, and they've also got this sort of merch shop as well, which is a very good way to, get some additional revenue. T-shirts, here, and you can see this is people. What you need to understand with these cult like memes, this is very good marketing, right? Because I can guarantee a lot of people will be buying this. People holders of Turbo, when they go on holiday, when they go out and about, people will see this, and essentially it's a good marketing tool as well. T-shirts, you've got hoodies, you've got hats, stickers, and also here this hot sauce essentially. So it's very unique. That is a USP. And they've got new products coming out as well. Stickers, pins. So really good. And I can guarantee they will be making good revenue through this sort of merch shop. And then you can see here you've got the the sort of memes and the assets that you can the pictures for Turbo for marketing as well. And as I've said, Ethereum and Solana, mainly on Ethereum. And again, you can see some of the memes. You can even create your own memes, right? So the point is, guys, I think this is a very strong project. I think fundamentally, I think in terms of the community aspect, if you go on YouTube, if you go on X, many people are covering this project, many people are talking about the project, and that is the thing, guys. You want sort of social social sort of score, social sentiment is very important when it comes to any project, not just memes. Of course, it's more important for meme coins, but as I've said, being exposed to the AI meme narrative, which is a narrative which has performed really well over the past week. You can see some of the green in this narrative, and I think with AI is here to stay. Meme coins are here to stay. When you combine the two, you really do have potential to really have a good project in the form of Turbo. And as I've said, guys, none of this is financial advice. Do not buy in on this massive green candle unless you are prepared to stomach some pullbacks. But as I've said, guys, what I like as well, they've been consistent even when the market was dead. They continue to be posting very good engagement as well. And overall, I think if you want something which is a solid meme coin, what can you expect in terms of returns? Let's have a look. So as I've said, back to all-time high, you're talking about a 3x. If we look at something like Pepe, again, that frog-based aspect, of course, am I saying this is going to flip Pepe? Of course not. It's not going to flip Pepe because, of course, if Turbo was to reach Pepe's current market cap of 3.8 billion in market cap, you can expect Pepe to be, 5 times, 10 times higher in market cap. But for me, I think around a 10x is achievable for something like Turbo. It's not going to give you, in my opinion, I know you'll hear some people saying, 30, 40, 50x. Can it give you, a 20x at a push? You're looking at something like an $8 billion market cap. Now, whether or not people are going to hold for that, I really don't think so. Do I recommend you to wait for that for an 8 billion market cap? I don't think. I think, depending on when you bought in, you might be in profit, you might be at a loss. As I've said, guys, I do think, something like a 10x is something which is achievable. I don't think 3.5 billion is completely unrealistic. And yeah, guys, I think overall, very strong project. And ultimately, I think the AI meme coin sector is going to continue to grow. More projects are going to come out. And I think, the main movers, Altcoin, Turbo, and, some of these other ones, such as, Zerebro here as well. A lot of these do have potential. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoy the video. Let me know your sort of price predictions of Turbo. Again, I like to be conservative. I don't want to sit here and tell you, something which is sitting at 350 million is going to 100x or 50x. So let me know your prediction. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, guys. I'm coming with regular content and I will only be increasing the amount of videos which I release. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you very soon for the next one.